going on, my Super Saiyan Witches? Rhymestyle here, and I'll try to say this intro as fast as possible, just because I kind of want to get into this conversation. Because we tried to do this.
Get to anything yesterday.
Yeah, we tried to do this yesterday, but I realized if I ever try to do a casual combo about anything Dragon Ball related with you, we'll probably be focusing too much on the fight because we're both like show-offs in a way.
Yeah.
And after the fight we had the day before, I'm pretty sure you're more willing to want to like beat me down and have an actual friendly conversation. You know, having a friendly conversation with your friend.
That's not, that's not how this relationship is, Dino. I'm sorry, okay? I kill you, and you try to kill me sometimes and get lucky every once in a while, and that's just how it is.
I'll beat you with go though. Okay, so today Today we're gonna talk about transformations, about everything that we know so far in Xenoverse 2, and also kind of touch up on like the questions that have been popping up in the community over the course of the last couple weeks as we're going into the information of Xenoverse 2. So At this point, everybody already knows that there's 5 races in Xenoverse 2. We got the Majin race, the human race, the Saiyan race, almost a Super Saiyan 3 race, the Saiyan race, the Namekian race, and of course the Frieza Pops that don't really have a name for a race, but we'll call it the Frieza race just to go along with Xenoverse. And let's do Majin race first, because obviously that's the biggest controversial one right now.
At the moment, yes. It used to be humans, now it's the Majins.
Yes. So the Majin race, in case you don't know, what they do is they transform into Kid Buu. Now you're probably wondering, well, Rhymestyle, why do my clothes go away? Like, why am I literally Kid Buu? And to answer that question, according to the lore of the Dragon Ball world, or the extended universe, I should say, Dragon Ball line, basically what happened was Majin Buu he found a porno. Like, I shit you not, this is the actual story that happened.
What?
He found a porno.
Oh, he found porno?
Yes, he found the Hercules porn stash. He read it or watched it. I don't remember if it was reading or watching. And from there, he created Boobie, who was his companion that he fornicated with, and that's how the Majin race started.
I need to watch this little story.
Yeah, it's in Dragon Ball Online. But end of the day, the Majin Buu race is still linked to the pure form, which is Kid Buu. If for some reason, for whatever reason, Buu was to revert to his original form, he could tap into the power somehow, according to the extended universe, and become Kid Buu. With that said, every single Majin race character, when they purify, or as they call it in the game, purification, they become Kid Buu, but along with that, they get the Kid Buu moveset, which is the one thing that kind of bugs me. It's like, if I want to play as Kid Buu, I will play as Kid Buu. Like, what I thought initially happened, based on the gameplay we saw months ago, is when you go into the Kid Buu form, you get the rolling ball attack when you fly around, you get more tankiness, and that kind of made more sense. But as a Dragon Ball fan, what I'd rather see, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would rather see as well, is a Super Buu type of form instead, or, you know, something different. Because, like, if I want to play as Kid Buu, like I said, I want to play as Kid Buu. So now that we have a proper way to talk about this, how do you feel about the whole Kid Buu purification in Xenoverse 2?
I mean, it's like you said, the lore-wise, because Xenoverse, I don't, like, not a lot of people, I guess, may look into it this much because they just kind of see it as, oh, another Dragon Ball game. But, like, they're very story oriented, and like I noticed that the roster is heavily based, like in Xenoverse 1, if you really think about it, it only had like other than Broly and GT, they primarily focused only on canon stuff, like they didn't have any of the movies. So with that said, that makes me, you know, it makes sense why they're like looking into the actual lore of something to draw reference to, you know. So from one perspective, yes, I see why, but like my overall feel on it, it's like, I don't know. I completely understand why people would say, you know, it's a cop-out, you know, some sort of thing. Just because,
I mean, to be honest,
it's Kid Buu. It's Kid Buu, and it's the exact same moveset. Like, when you told me that, that's when I was like, okay, this is, yeah.
Okay. Look, as a Dragon Ball fan, I would not have been offended if they didn't do the more canon side of the story. I would not have been offended if, like, the female version of Kid Buu would have been a female version of Kid Buu. Like, I would not be offended about that. I also wouldn't have been offended if they, you know, kept the clothes or whatever. I just feel like, honestly, it's kind of a cop-out. So that's just, I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah. But to those who are Majin Buu race users, how do you actually feel about that? Feel free to kind of discuss it down below. Again, this is a lot easier to do when we're not focused on trying to beat each other down while having this conversation.
Yeah, but, I mean,
what were we gonna say?
I was gonna say with the Kid Buu race, we have to also remember, because this is a huge mistake that not only the, I guess, anime community, but the gaming community as a freaking whole makes, is making, like jumping to conclusions too fast. Like, in my opinion, until people actually had their hands on it and used it, like, yes, in theory, you know, everything we've seen so far is like, oh, you know, a little iffy, but you will never know until you actually get your hands on it and play with that race. Because
Correct.
for all you know, with that destructive ball, you might be able to, like, maybe it's designed for Kid Buu's moveset. You know, maybe you're supposed to link certain things that you couldn't with the original Kid Buu. You just have no idea. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, and, you know, maybe it'll be the most amazing thing ever.
One thing that both you and I notice is transformations actually do matter in this game.
Yes.
And when you transform, they can be
turns the tide of the battle.
Big reason. Yeah, exactly. Like when I fought you several times, I could have beaten you, or I came pretty close just by going Super Saiyan 3 because it gives you enough of a boost.
Oh my God!
Which
yes, yeah. Can I speak from the victim perspective?
It's beautiful.
Okay, all right. I was abused. Okay, Super Saiyan 3 is so like It was after I looked at the footage that I realized, and I never really talked to you formally about this, but Super Saiyan 3 like gives you such a damage increase. Like I was just comparing combos to when you were doing like the same combo before and after you transformed, and yes. Long story short, yes, transformations change the tide of the battle.
Now this is of course based on alpha build. I don't know how they will tweak that in the future, post release, after release, before release.
Well, maybe
based on the alpha we played, it was
tweak.
Right. But the reason why I want to bring up the Saiyan race as a whole, is transformation-wise, is because the question right now has been going around is why can't we also get Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God? Well, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 are already a big boost. So if you get Super Saiyan Blue as well, I feel like that could be kind of overpowered. However, I wanted to make this suggestion. Shady Man OG on Twitter tweeted me this and said, what if Super Saiyan Blue was just a reskin of the Super Saiyan 3 transformation? No changes in stat boost, but just looks different. And honestly, I would not be opposed about that. Like that could be a way better system as like a way to implement Super Saiyan Blue in the future. And I'm going to submit that as a choice too. So I feel like,
so basically what you're saying is like they'll have the option to Or is he saying he wants to completely replace Super Saiyan 3, or he wants you to have the option?
No, so what he was saying is because we all want to just transform to Super Saiyan Blue, which is fine. But obviously, if they add Super Saiyan Blue on top of Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3,
that's too much.
Blue would have to be stronger than 3, and that would be kind of overpowered. But what he suggested was, well, what if like Super Saiyan Blue gives you the same stat boost as Super Saiyan 3, but just looks differently? To which I decided, you know what? What if instead of having like, you know, Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3 as a thing, they could do Super Saiyan
like
as a transformation. They could also do Super Saiyan. Yeah, they could do a Super Saiyan Blue as a transformation as well. And the way this should work is, if you equip Super Saiyan, as you transform, obviously you need more ki. You need 3 ki bars for Super Saiyan 1. I believe it was 5 ki bars for Super Saiyan 2, and then like 7. A full ki bar for Super Saiyan 3. Right. Or 7. We can't confirm how many numbers it actually is, but that's what we've been
going back and forth about that. I think it's 7. He thinks it's full. Well, but it doesn't matter. We'll see.
The way Super Saiyan Blue could work is you don't have access to Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. Instead, you have Super Saiyan Blue as a whole, so you have to get your ki bar full all the way up. Or they could keep it simple and give you Super Saiyan 1 and 2, and if your ki is all the way full, you can go Super Saiyan Blue. And again, it's the same stat boost as Super Saiyan 3, it just looks differently. I would not be offended by that if that was a way Super Saiyan Blue could work for custom created transformations.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. They would have to obviously kind of sacrifice the lore a little bit, not to a huge extent, but like, you know, if they do it like that, then people, you know, there's going to be some heavily into the lore people who are going to be like, oh my god, Super Saiyan Blue has the same bonus as Super Saiyan 3, this is stupid. You know, there's always going to be some sort of minority complaining about stuff, but if you set aside lore, I guess, like, yeah, I mean, it gives everybody options. Everybody theoretically gets what they want, but you know how community is, you know, not everyone will ever be pleased.
Yeah. Well, what I want to ask the viewers, the students watching this video and you made it this far, how would you feel about that system? Like, would you think having, you know, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 as a form, and then also having another form where it's Super Saiyan 1, 2, and Blue, or just Super Saiyan Blue period that requires, you know, full ki bars to transform, but it gives the same stat boost as Super Saiyan 3? How would you feel about that? Is that a good idea or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'm pretty, like, I'm serious about submitting this as an idea, because I feel like this could work. On top of that, it could solve the balancing issue and making every fan happy, because at the end of the day, we just want to transform into Super Saiyan Blue. Like, let's be real.
I was going to say, it wouldn't be, in theory, it wouldn't be that hard, but you just, like I said, you just never know how things are, like, on the mechanical side of the game, you know, so it'll depend. Like, they will, obviously, we have this portal thing, and that's where people can either send feedback, suggestions, whatever, and, you know.
Which isn't live yet, by the way. It's not live yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, at the very least, you know, maybe get somebody's eyes on it, and then they'll, you know, work out whether it's possible or not.
Now, the next one I want to kind of briefly talk about, and not say briefly because we don't know too much about it, is the humans, which obviously was controversial a couple weeks ago.
Can I just be honest
real
quick? I was impressed when I saw it. Like, people, like, a lot of people when they saw it, like, they were super turned off, but, like, you know, I made a video kind of making fun of it, but I was really like, it just caught me off guard. And like, that's, again, we're so not used to that, I think, in Dragon Ball games, because it's, you know, we're not extremely, like, that was brand new. We've never seen anything like that in a Dragon Ball game before.
Right. And what it does is it gives you a different moveset using the power pole, which I think is super freaking cool. And until we kind of use it, we can't really judge it too much, but I see a lot of opportunity with that. And I'm pretty stoked to actually try the human race for once in Xenoverse 2.
Yeah, that's going to be, I'm going to make my Master Broshi character, and he's going to look so dope on the Nimbus with the power pole. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah. So again, we also want to hear your thoughts on the human transformation as well down below from seeing the TGS gameplay. Now the last two, really the last one, the Namekian, the giant transformation to me seems a bit useless. It makes you a giant target, and I feel like this is going to be the least favorite out of all of them. It looks cool. Yeah, it looks cool, but I feel like you're too slow. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're just too slow. I mean, we'll probably have the same defense that we saw in Tenkaichi 3, where like you can't get grabbed and stuff like that, which can be pretty powerful if you do it the right way.
Could just be super armor, honestly.
That could be too, but I feel like it's still too slow. All you gotta do is kind of back away and like, you know, like fire a couple of key blasts, because I don't know like how fast you are in terms of how flying works, so stuff like that. So the Namekian race, I feel like we need to see more, and hopefully when we go to Bandai next time in a couple days or in a week or so, we'll get a better experience with a hands-on tryouts.
Yes, that's gonna be. I think that's the most. What's the word? Anticipated sort of the transformations. Like,
yeah,
the humans and the Majins are like, you know, like people don't know whether they like it or not, you know, so there's that. But then with Namekians, I think people are just curious, like they just want to see, is this OP? Like, it's so hard to find a balance between overpowered and underpowered. Like, you know, I think you know, it'll be interesting to see if they found that, because Xenoverse, if you know, played competitively, it sounds so like crazy to have a giant character, you know, just based off of how you play Xenoverse, you know.
If I could be honest, the ones that I feel like are going to be underpowered is going to be the Namekians and the Majin.
Think so?
Because right now, humans I could see a lot of, because humans end up being the underdogs in Xenoverse 1. They were the most powerful race to play as because of all their advantage they got. Yeah, you still have nightmares about that. I think, honestly, how I think it's going to rank is Super Saiyan 3, because of the damage output boost is huge. They're going to be at the top, followed by the Frieza race, because what speeds up with the Frieza race isn't just your flight, but it's also the combos and the attacks. Because if you remember the original gameplay that came out a couple months ago,
they're going to be
showed that golden custom created. Yeah, because they showed that custom created time patroller transform, and a ki blast went faster. On top of that, he fired the death ball, which also went faster. Like, it's an all-around super speed boost. And can you, first of all, you know how fast the cooler Supernova goes.
Oh, can you imagine I forgot about that move. People are gonna have
now imagine that Supernova speed with the golden form. Like, I think that is gonna be the biggest threat next to Super Saiyan.
It's gonna be all right. And another thing people have to remember is, remember when Xenoverse 1 first came out, how like, you know, there was like the balance was not fully there when it first came out. Like, not to like, it's made huge jumps in balance over the course of time. But the reason I say that is Xenoverse 2 is adding a lot of content. So
a lot of new stuff.
If there's all these new features in a fighting game, it's I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade or doubt them, but it's just natural to where, like,
no, stuff's gonna break.
Yeah,
stuff's
people are gonna find things, and you know, people might complain and be like, oh, you just have to spam this. You know, there's gonna be patches. Patches are gonna address certain things that you guys, and that's why they're implementing the portal, are fine. So I just want to kind of throw a little disclaimer in there before everybody kind of gets their panties in a wad. If things, you know, with all these new features are a little imbalanced.
When it comes down to it, you know, we'll do our best as a community to let Dims know, like, hey, this needs to be patched, this needs to be fixed, you need to figure this out, how to do this better. We'll do our best to let them know, but like, prepare for stuff to be kind of wonky the first couple of weeks in terms of like nerfing stuff and functionality. But from playing the alpha the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that they've already made so many changes. As you know, you and I said a couple of days ago, stuff like Solar Flare takes 2 key bars, and moves like After Image and even probably Phantom Fist now require key period. So, and on top of that, certain moves require 5 key bars to pull off. Like, they've nerfed that, and they even slowed them down to make it like they do less damage. So for example, like Yamcha's Spirit Ball now lasts half the time. So they definitely listened in the point of, you know, nerfing stuff and making it more balanced. But it's probably still a lot more that's going to be discovered once it gets in the hands of the players.
That's how the industry works. I mean, that's how this whole thing is. I mean, there's one thing to
Yeah.
have a team of like, 15 or 20 people looking at the game, even if they're looking every single day. When you send that game out to millions upon millions of people, well, just Dragon Ball, you never know. Xenoverse sold over 1 million copies. Anyways, besides the point, when millions of people look at a game, they're inevitably gonna, capture more of the game than they did themselves.
Right.
So that's why people find exploits, because there's so many eyes on it that it's just,
Deathball.
it'll one person uses it and then it just spreads like wildfire.
But obviously, when the game comes out, we'll do our best, like I said, to send that feedback across. We'll make sure that the game is patched, more balanced. And actually, I tossed the idea around as a community, we should have our own ban list of attacks that
just kind of like look down upon moves, just so there's like sort of what's the word? We're not trying to lay down the law,
like,
but
put
just
it this way.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you fight someone for glory, for example, it's like, let's say I fight Dion, and let's say Super Drain is a banned move officially based on our community list. Well, then that fight doesn't really count as a win. It's like, oh, well, you only won because of Super Drain.
Well,
yeah. So if you could beat me without Super Drain, it's different. So what I'm thinking we should do as a community, and this is just based off the moves, after seeing how everything works, is create our own list of like moves that are quote unquote frowned upon. And if you beat someone with that, that's fine. But if you beat someone without it, it's better. It's more glorious.
I mean,
so
let me add a note, just because let me just save you a little bit, just because there's some people who I know will be like, oh, they're trying to like make a let us use the moves we want. There's gonna be a crowd that does that. This is just our own thing, like, if you're hanging out with us, sort of thing. Like, if I run into you online, you'll kind of know, like, this move's a little kind of cheap. Just like Phantom Fist, like, there's like that kind of hidden invisible rule, like, if you're legit, you won't use Phantom Fist. Just sort of that thing, except in Xenoverse 2, if needed. For all we know, there could be no frowned upon moves.
Yeah. For example, today, if I were to toss a couple moves, the official ban list, according to how I feel Xenoverse 1 should be right now, is Absolute Zero is banned because it's broken. Super Drain, which I was a big user of Super Drain for the longest. Like, I don't even use it.
Oh, yeah. Lately, you haven't used it.
Yeah, because if you do Super Drain combined with like Angry Shout, it's like impossible to dodge. On top of that, Absolute Zero, you can't snap out of it. It's a broken move. So stuff like that. But again, we'll talk about that later after seeing the game and seeing what's legit, what's not legit. But for now, we just want to talk about transformations. So I guess in the comment section below, let us know your thoughts on your favorite form in Xenoverse 2 so far, and also your thoughts about how Super Saiyan Blue could possibly work, because I really like the idea of just using the reskin, or where you can go Super Saiyan Blue still, and it gives you the same status boost as Super Saiyan 3. That way it doesn't break the transformation altogether and make you overpowered. Like, I want to see that. So I don't know. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We already talked way too much. I figured this video was going to be way shorter than it actually was. So I guess if you're hyped for the game, leave a like, and we'll see you guys.
And I was gonna throw my. I can't say goodbye. You're just gonna end the video. Should I just go fall down a flight of stairs, Dino?
Go ahead and say goodbye.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was also gonna ask. I'm curious because whenever I'm a collaborator on a video, I look at the comments too, as if it's my own. So it's like we're both the parents of this video, except you guys. Never mind. Also comment down below which race your first character is gonna be, along with your character's name. I'm just curious. That's it. Leave a like, all that. I'll see you guys. Bye. Should I say everything? I'll see all you awesome super sandwiches in the next one. I'm Dino. Bye. Everything!